I know you often ask yourself, how do some people always seem to thrive in everything they do, while others, despite their big dreams and ambitions, end up stuck and unable to achieve their goals? What's the secret of these successful people? What do they do differently? The answer might lie in a simple word, but one with profound and transformative meaning. And I want to reveal something to you that was truly transformational in my life. Success has a structure. Today, everything is for yesterday. Immediacy and shortcuts dominate, and the buzzword is procrastination. Remember when I first told you about those people who succeed in everything they touch and how success has a structure, and you're now at the point where you just can't wait any longer and you don't want to leave this video? So get ready. The secret is diligence. Self-responsibility has become a rare quality. This is one of the great teachings you'll find in the Bible. The Bible tells us and teaches us that diligence is a fundamental principle for achieving prosperity in all areas of our lives. But what does it mean to be diligent according to Scripture? How can we apply this principle in our lives to achieve financial prosperity, spiritual growth, healthy relationships, and personal success? What does the Bible say about diligence? And how can we apply these teachings to transform our lives from the inside out? Let's start by understanding what it really means to be diligent according to Scripture. In practical terms, it's about taking self-responsibility, commonly known as taking control of your life, and stopping the habit of shifting blame onto others. After all, the blame is ours, and we place it where we choose. When I first came across this word in Proverbs, I thought it was a swear word, and I thought it meant effort. I immediately thought, well, I am a very hard worker. Since I was a teenager, people have always told me that I'm a hard worker, and this effort has taken me only part of the way through my journey. To reach what I consider success, just effort isn't enough. But biblical diligence is something much deeper. It's the manifestation of responsibility, consistency, excellence, and commitment to the best. In practical terms, it means not doing things halfway, not settling for mediocrity, and abandoning mediocrity altogether. It was painful to understand the true meaning of this, but the reality is that it was transformative to realize, in practice, what it means not to be diligent. Realizing that I had been trained my whole life to accept things at an average level was painful. Even more so was breaking free from that and starting to embrace diligence. Diligence goes beyond completing a task. It calls us to do everything with excellence and dedication, regardless of the circumstances. The word diligence in the Bible carries deep significance. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew term most often used to translate diligence is miod, which conveys the idea of intensity and great effort. In the New Testament, the Greek word associated with diligence is spoud, meaning to act with haste and fervor. Both terms suggest intensity in work and focus in actions. Biblical diligence is not just about hard work. It's also about the intention to do the best in everything we do, whether in our work, relationships, or spirituality. In the Bible, we find several examples of people who live with diligence and achieve great victories. These examples serve as models of how diligence is rewarded, whether in professional, spiritual, or personal realms. One of the greatest examples of prosperity achieved through diligence is the story of King Solomon. When God appeared to Solomon and offered him anything he desired, Solomon didn't ask for riches or power. He asked for wisdom. He knew that with wisdom, he could make just and diligent decisions that would bring prosperity to him and the people of Israel. In 1 Kings 3 verses 5 to 14, we read that God not only gave Solomon the wisdom he requested, but also wealth and honor. Solomon became one of the wealthiest and most influential men in history, and all of this was a result of his diligence and wisdom. His life is a clear example of how seeking wisdom and acting diligently in all areas of life leads to lasting blessings. King David also exemplifies diligence in the Bible. Though he was anointed as king from a young age, he faced many years of persecution before actually ruling Israel. During that time, David demonstrated diligence in serving God with a pure heart, seeking to honor and obey God even when his circumstances were difficult. In 1 Samuel 16 verses 11 to 13, we see David as a young shepherd, caring for his father's sheep when God chose him to be the future king of Israel. Even after being anointed, he continued working as a shepherd, showing humility and diligence in his service to God until he was recognized and exalted. Diligence doesn't just apply to work or finances. It should be lived out in all areas of our lives. The Bible teaches us to apply diligence in our relationships, spiritual growth, and even in caring for our bodies and minds. In Proverbs 10 verse 4, the Bible states, "The hand of the diligent makes rich, but the hand of the lazy makes poor." This verse shows us a direct connection between diligence in work and financial success. The Bible teaches that when we work diligently, we will reap the rewards of our effort, both financially and emotionally. In Proverbs 13 verse 4, it says, "The soul of the diligent shall be made fat." The word fat here represents prosperity or growth. The soul of the diligent is prosperous because they don't just dream, but act with determination to achieve their goals, turning dreams into realities. It's not about wishing, but doing with dedication to achieve. When I began to understand that diligence aligns with self-responsibility and, first and foremost, the kingdom of God, I started seeking answers in the manual of life. The Bible teaches us that diligence is essential for spiritual growth. We can't expect our relationship with God to grow automatically. It requires diligent effort on our part. In 2 Peter 1 verses 5 to 10, we see that diligence is a foundation for growing in faith. Peter wrote in his letters, and for this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge. Faith is just the beginning. To grow spiritually, we must be diligent in developing Christian character, including virtue, patience, and love. Relationships also require diligence. In Hebrews 10 verses 24-25, the Bible teaches us to be diligent in encouraging others to do good, to stimulate love, and not to forsake the assembly. Being diligent in relationships means being present, attentive, and willing to invest time and effort into the people we love. When you understand the power of diligence and the accomplishments I've made by applying these principles, it truly makes all the difference. Here's a practical tip for you to apply at work. Be detail-oriented and thorough. Don't do things half-heartedly, but dedicate attention to each task. Be present. Make mistakes quickly, correct them quickly, and learn. Be flexible in making many mistakes, but not the same mistakes over and over again. Be like a child learning to walk, falling thousands of times in different ways until you achieve the elegance of walking. Be constant. Don't give up during difficulties. Perseverance is an essential part of diligence. Now, the third golden rule is be proactive. Anticipate needs and take initiative without waiting to be asked. Now, let me take you to another level. The second great commandment given by God is to love your neighbor as yourself, meaning that after being diligent with ourselves, we need to apply diligence in benefiting others. Relationships are one of the foundations for us to become better people. Be intentional in your relationships. Preserve your relationships. Show love and support actively, without waiting for others to take the initiative all the time. Be present. Invest genuine time in those you love. Relationships are made of consistency and attention. The Bible doesn't teach us to seek gold and silver, but rather riches. It encourages us to prosper, and here's something you need to note. We are made in God's image, and all things, all dominion, have been given to us. What's missing is us taking responsibility. To seek prosperity means to break free from whatever is holding you back from your current state. In Proverbs 22 verse 7, it says, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender." This verse reminds us of the importance of living debt-free and being diligent in managing our resources. The Bible teaches us that when we are responsible and diligent, financial freedom is achieved. After all, we are stewards of the King, and he doesn't trust riches to those who are not diligent. I want to bring you a parable from Matthew 25 verses 14 to 30. 14, for it is like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. 15 to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. 16, the man who had received 5 talents went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more. 17, so also the one with 2 talents gained 2 more. 18, but the man who had received 1 talent went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. 19, after a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. 20, the man who had received 5 talents brought the other 5. "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more." 21, his master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." 22, the man with 2 talents also came. "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more." 23, his master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." 24, then the man who had received 1 talent came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not scattered seed." 25, so I was afraid and went out and hid your talent in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." 26, his master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed?" 27, well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I return I would have received it back with interest. 28, so take the talent from him, and give it to the one who has 10 talents. 29, for whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. 30, and throw that worthless servant outside, into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Diligence is not just an isolated virtue, but the foundation upon which a prosperous and successful life is built. The Bible teaches us that by being diligent in our work, relationships, and faith, we reap a life full of prosperity, wisdom, and lasting fruits. Diligence in finances involves wisely using resources, controlling spending, and being disciplined in saving and investing. When we apply these principles, God blesses us with financial progress and gives us wisdom to manage what He has entrusted to us. In Proverbs 10 verse 4, Solomon wrote, "The hand of the diligent makes rich, but the hand of the lazy makes poor." This verse teaches us that diligent work is a key factor in achieving prosperity. Financial prosperity doesn't come by chance or luck, but through intelligent, consistent, responsible, and focused effort. The Bible teaches that God blesses the work of our hands when we do it with integrity, dedication, and diligence. If you seek wealth, diligence is the first step to achieving that goal. However, as we will see next, it's not just about working hard, but also about working strategically and intelligently. Joseph is a classic example of how financial diligence can result in lasting blessings. Though he was sold into slavery by his own brothers, he didn't just work diligently in Potiphar's house, but also demonstrated wisdom and integrity in his actions. This led him to be promoted and eventually govern Egypt. Joseph's diligent work, combined with his ability to manage Egypt's resources, resulted in prosperity not only for him, but also for God's people. In Genesis 41 verse 46, we see Joseph managing resources with such wisdom and diligence that he ensured Egypt's survival during years of famine. Joseph's story teaches us that diligence and wisdom go hand in hand when it comes to finances. He didn't just work hard, but also planned and invested wisely to ensure the prosperity of his country, even in tough times. When we are diligent with our finances, with wisdom, we can generate lasting prosperity, even in times of scarcity. Diligence in finances also involves planning and discipline. In Proverbs 21 verse 5, we are taught, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." This verse teaches us that planning and patience are key to financial success. Often, we see quick results and easy fortunes, but the Bible warns that this can lead to loss and ruin. The diligent, on the other hand, plans and acts with patience, which leads to lasting prosperity. Diligence in finances requires discipline to control spending and avoid waste. In Proverbs 13 verse 11, we read, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." This verse is clear about the importance of honesty and diligent work in accumulating wealth. Continuous and honest effort, coupled with financial discipline, results in the accumulation of assets in a sustainable and blessed manner. Practical example, King Solomon and resource management. Solomon, known for his wisdom, was also an example of how diligence and financial planning bring prosperity. In 1 Kings 4 verses 22 to 23, we see how Solomon's kingdom prospered due to his organization, planning, and careful resource management. He was diligent in managing his kingdom's wealth and collecting tributes from different parts of the world, ensuring abundance for the people of Israel. Solomon taught that, beyond hard work, it is essential to have a strategic plan to make our resources grow efficiently. The Bible also teaches that wise plans and financial discipline ensure long-term prosperity. Another important aspect of financial diligence is avoiding excessive debt and procrastination. In Proverbs 22 verse 7, the Bible states, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender." Debt often places us in a position of financial slavery, preventing us from acting with freedom and wisdom. Diligence leads us to avoid debt, keeping control of our resources, and avoiding unnecessary spending. Moreover, procrastination is a great enemy of financial diligence. In Proverbs 6 verses 6 to 8, we are advised to look at the ant, which works diligently without being forced, storing food in the summer for the winter. In the same way, we should be diligent in planning for the future and avoid procrastination, especially regarding our financial health. Practical example, the rich man and Lazarus. The parable of the rich man and Lazarus, Luke 16 verses 19 to 31, teaches us about the importance of prudent resource management. The rich man, who lived in luxury and neglected the needy, ended up in torment, while Lazarus, though in difficult circumstances, was faithful with his resources and was rewarded. This parable illustrates the need to be diligent with resources, not living excessively or irresponsibly, and giving to those in need. In Romans 13 verse 8, the Bible tells us, "Let no debt remain outstanding, except a continuing debt to love one another." Financial diligence also involves the responsibility to pay debts efficiently and live within our means. The Bible teaches that we should honor our financial commitments and not live beyond our means. which implies living with discipline and responsibility. Additionally, the Bible emphasizes the importance of saving for the future and planning for retirement. In Proverbs 21 verse 20, we read, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. The wise person is diligent in saving and storing, while the fool spends recklessly, ultimately finding themselves in financial trouble." In Proverbs 12 verse 1, we are challenged. "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." Here, diligence is seen as a love for wisdom, a sincere desire to learn and grow, both in faith and in the actions that reflect that faith. Dedicate time to studying the scriptures. Don't expect your faith to grow without effort. Invest in prayer, meditation, and reflection. Practice spiritual discipline. It's not just about believing, but about acting diligently to live your faith practically every day. Leave a like if you were touched by this message and share it with someone who also needs to live diligently. Comment below, what area of your life do you most need to apply diligence right now? Subscribe to the channel for more transformative content based on biblical principles. Diligence is the bridge between the promise and the realization. It's what transforms faith into fruit. And although it doesn't show up on social media, it is always present in the testimonies of those who persevere in silence, making a real and deep difference. Live with diligence, and watch the fruits bloom in every area of your life.